another review body. Less the cost of the new accountants that have to come in and the new attorneys that come in. We believed and put forth a plan that we could exceed those savings. We understand that labor is a problem with respect to deals that were entered into. We have been very clear with our labor leaders that we need to achieve concessions for 2012. We prefer that those concessions be voluntary because the contracts that they were entered into, collectively bargained, go through 2015 and 16. We prefer them to be voluntary without litigation. NIFA does not have the power to open those contracts. It's the first question I ask. They do not have the power to open those contracts. I have come up with a plan to allow us to order savings. And that is through the introduction of the Taxpayer Relief Act, which I filed with the legislature, and the majority leader here, presiding officer of the legislature, is taking up soon. Through the powers invested in that act passed by the legislature, I will order savings if we cannot reach a voluntary agreement. And if those ordered savings are challenged and I am unsuccessful, then there will be layoffs. We have a very clear plan to keep our budget in balance. Several of the labor unions have indicated they are willing to voluntarily step up to the plate, assist the county, and voluntarily open up their contracts. That's a good thing for the county. It's real savings, it's immediate savings, and it's without litigation. So that's where we are with our budget, which we maintain is in balance. As an administration, it went through the legislature, a separately elected body, passed there. They've made some amendments to make sure that it stays in balance if some of the risks don't come true. And another separately elected body, person, the comptroller, has certified this budget. 3 elected bodies certifying the budget is in balance. Yet we have a watchdog agency that was here 10 years, questions items that were there before them, changes the rules of the game, and now enacts a control period, but now says there is no fiscal emergency, so they cannot bring any relief to the people of Nassau County. So in my eyes, they bring cost. I am here to represent the people of Nassau County and do what's in the best interest of the people of Nassau County. And that is why we are challenging their resolution to enact a control period. We do not believe that they met the statutory requirements embodied in that statute. Clearly, they have not met their mission, which was to offer solutions and to do all that they can to make sure that Nassau County remained an independent body. During the toughest of times, they didn't enact a control period. During the prior administration, when it reached a 2% actual deficit, it did not enact a control period. We are not even in deficit, and they've enacted it. So we are concerned. And that is why we've moved forward. It has been difficult in the press to get our word out, and we've tried. Have tried. But that is why we're here today, and we've taken our message to the people just as much as the same way that you put me in office. We believe that it's the right thing to do for the people in Nassau County. No matter what, we cannot allow people to subvert the will, a few people subvert the will of the many, to instill their judgment above those that were elected to govern, certainly if there is no statutory basis to do so. So, we remain steadfast in making certain that our county becomes more affordable, that we avoid real property tax increases, especially when Nassau County is the second highest property taxes in the nation. And I'm confident that we will complete our goal. We're very successful in our first year. I feel accomplished. I can look everybody here in the eye and say, I enacted those actions necessary to live up to my pledges to you. We did nothing less, and I believe in many respects we did a lot more to make sure that our county is on better footing. So I won't go on because I want to leave some time for questions and answers, but I hope that that frames the issues of why we're at this juncture where we must oppose this board's actions. Peter, you want to take some questions?
No. Let me address you on where I see us going, and I know that at some point in time the county executive has to meet with, where are you going, meeting with the lawyers on this?
Yeah, we're meeting on litigation.
So if he has to go out, I'll certainly stay, but I can tell you that I'm very confident and working together, and some of the things that the county executive touched on. We have a 2011 balanced budget that is balanced without a tax increase, and that budget is balanced, and it has been documented to be so. In addition to all the people that county executive mentioned, have certified the budget is balanced. The county auditors, renowned accounting firm, like I always mangle their name, Delay and Touche, I think it's called. I think I pronounced that right. Deloitte. Thank you very much. Thank you. French is not my strong suit. But anyway, by all accepted accounting methods, that budget is balanced, and it is balanced without a tax increase. Now, there are items that are at risk. At risk means there are things that may or may not happen. Sales tax revenue may come in higher, it may come in lower. State aid from the state, depending on what's going on up there, may be higher, it may be lower. There are some items that are in the budget, such as an expansion of the red light camera program that requires state legislation. Hasn't happened yet, doesn't know if it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. In each and every case, if something goes wrong, there's a contingency built into the budget that can be activated in order to keep the budget in balance. We are not going to be deterred. We on the legislature are continuing to look forward, and we are now embarking on the 2012 budget. County executive mentioned the 2012 budget has challenges. We have a hearing tomorrow where we're going to focus in and get from the county's budget director the numbers, the real numbers of exactly what these unsustainable labor contracts that the previous administration entered into are going to cost us in additional dollars next year. Additional dollars that neither the legislature nor this county executive can do anything about unless the unions voluntarily reopen up their contracts. So there's it's really an undebatable and a relatively easy concept. If somebody is working for the county this year and they're making $10 a year, then next year, because of a union contract and the provisions of that union contract, they're going to make $11 a year. There's an increase of $1. Now, if you're not going to raise taxes, and we are not, there will not be a tax increase in the 2012 budget once the county executive presents it to us. When it leaves us, it will not. It won't have a tax increase when he presents it, I'm sure. But it certainly won't have a tax increase when it leaves the legislature on October 30th. We're not raising property taxes in the county. That being said, if you're not going to raise property taxes and you have increasing costs, you have to cut spending. There's no other they can slice it 16 ways to Sunday. You have to cut spending. Now, there are things that the county has mandated that we have to do. For example, we received from the Navy 109 acres of land in the Grumman property in Bethpage. We are mandated under that law, and where we received the title to that land, it must be sold. We have to sell it, preferably next year, or this year. So if we're going to sell the land anyway, and the land has an appraised value, and we expect that the sale of the land, if NIFA would keep quiet and stop making the county executive disclose all the plans on selling things and doing what's surplus properties and so forth, that land should bring in somewhere between $25 and $30 million for 109 acres in Bethpage that can be developed by whoever.